My name is Earl Senchuk, and years ago I went on a camping trip with some buddies and it just rained and rained the whole time. So I put up a blue plastic tarp with a sapling in the middle and it worked, but we couldn't build a very high fire. So I told my buddies I am going to invent something next year that's going to eliminate all concern over a rained out camping trip. And this is what I came up with, the Crown FireTent. And now I'm going to show you how to set it up. An ideal location for the Crown FireTent is level ground and where any obstructions are 9 feet away from the fire tent. Once you found that ideal location, let's make sure we got all the things that we need. 6 18-inch ground stakes, a setup tool, 3 aluminum center poles, the canvas tent, 3 R-clips, 6 guy lines with carabiners, and 6 perimeter poles. And the only tool you need is a large rubber mallet. If you don't have a pre-existing fire pit, then you have to establish the center point using a nail or a wooden stake will work just fine. Once you've established the center of your fire pit location, you want to sink a stake or a nail, as so. Step 1. Use the setup tool to find the first ground stake location. Step 2, find the locations for stakes number 2 and number 3. At first, you want to pound the stakes in only halfway because you might need to adjust those locations later. Step number 3, to find the locations for stakes 4, 5, and 6, eyeball down the line using the setup tool. When the stakes number 1, 2, and 3 on the other side of the fire pits disappears, sink stakes 4, 5, and 6 directly under the ring. Step 4, set up the center poles equidistant apart with the centers crisscrossed over the fire pit and one pole shorter than the other. Step 5, spread out the canopy over the poles and fire pit area evenly with the chimney opening laying directly over the top of the center of the fire pit. Step 6, connect the R-clips to the 3 grommets located at the top of the crown. Step 7, connect the 6 guy lines loosely to each of the 6 ground stakes. At the top, connect the carabiners to the 6 triangular rings. Step 8, the lift. When you go to lift the tent, grab the pole nearest to the top. If you grab near the middle and try to lift the tent and it's hung up on the other side and you don't know it, you could actually bend the pole. Extend all of the perimeter poles to the recommended height of 74 inches. Turn the locking screw clockwise to lock the poles in position. Step 9. The yellow guy lines are all the same length. You can gauge equal tension by the distance of the red guy line tensioners to the ground stake. Insert the perimeter pole tips into the 6 grommet points. Increase the pull tension around the tent equally a bit at a time until all the perimeter poles stand vertically under tension. Rarely will you set up the Crown FireTent perfectly. With practice over time, you'll go right to the sweet spot. Walk around the tent to ensure that all of the guy lines and corresponding poles and stakes are in line. With all parts lined up properly, adjust all of the guy lines equally to full tension. Here's a handy little safety tip to keep the kids from stubbing their toes. Get a piece of pool noodle like so, cut a slit down the side part way, open it up, stick it over the stake. And the final step, light your fire.